All right, let's talk about some matchmaking for UFC Baku. As I promised, it was coming out today. Tomorrow we got the John Jones video coming out, which I have not even put together yet, but I'll spend time putting that together. And then Tuesday will be predictions. Wednesday we'll see what's happening because I am going International Fight Week. But let's talk about matchmaking for the UFC overrated Baku card that some people still think that I'm wrong for calling overrated, even though apparently they enjoy watching shit cards. I have this little fucking thing on the top of my hair that I cannot fix right now, but sorry guys, you got to deal with it. Khalil Rountree had a schooling performance over Jamahal Hill. Everyone's calling for the Yuri matchup. I think Yuri is going to fight within the next 3 months, and I don't think Khalil's ready to make that turnaround. So I'm not doing the Yuri matchup. If it was, Yuri was going to be waiting, and then we have the Khalil matchup on like MSG, that'd be sick. Yuri versus Khalil. I don't think that's what we're getting. I think I would expect to see Yuri versus Olberg fight news coming at some point. Maybe if they end up going to like Perth or Australia to do Yuri versus Olberg as a main event. The other guy that's kind of in contention, rattling off a big win streak that I think can be the answer to destroying Khalil Rountree once and for all. I will be hate watching this like crazy for Khalil Rountree, and I will be glazing Dom Reyes the entire time. Dom Reyes versus Khalil Rountree. Make this fight for the October pay-per-view that they end up doing, because Khalil didn't take too much damage. He got hit a couple of times. I just don't think he's turning around, and I think this is a pay-per-view worthy fight. I think you can make this on the pay-per-view of like MSG. You can make this the main card opener. Dom Reyes, Khalil Rountree, 3-round fight. Winner starts looking at that title shot. Whereas like Yuri or Olberg already just fought, they're getting the next one, but the winner of this gets to kind of wait for a second and get theirs after that. You know what I mean? So I think we do Khalil Rountree versus Dom Reyes. It's a great fight to make. Reyes is ready to fight. Rountree's going to need a couple months, but he'll be able to get back in there. And I think that Dom Reyes is going to put an end to this, dude. He can check a leg kick, whereas Yuri doesn't check leg kicks, which would scare the fuck out of me. And I think Dom gets it done. So, like, realistically, but this is a sick fight to make. Like, Dom Reyes on a 3-fight win streak. Khalil had his best win over Jamahal Hill. But before that, it's like, he lost to Pereira, was ranked 8 and got a title shot. And I get rankings don't matter that fucking much. But, like, the other guys he was beating was, like, Anthony Smith and robbing Dustin Jacoby and, like, blowing out the knee of Modestas Bakauskas. Like, those are his best wins outside of Jamahal Hill now. But I look at this and I go, like, this is a fucking banger matchup. It's a main card worthy for the MSG card. I say that's where you do it. If Dom Reyes can turn around quicker, I would love that. I don't know. We'll see. Jamahal Hill versus Ming Yang Zhang. Buddy, you embarrassed me in front of the world yesterday. Your time has come. Jamahal Hill's in a situation where he's lost to 2 former champions and a title challenger. So he fought really good competition, but he keeps fucking losing. He's got to fight down in the rankings. Ming Yang Zhang's going to end up fighting Johnny Walker in China. I think Ming Yang Zhang puts him out cold, and I'm willing to bet Ming Yang Zhang makes a turnaround for the end of the year and says, I'll fight you in December, no problem. Jamahal Hill, Ming Yang Zhang on the pay-per-view in December. It's a little bit of a step down in competition for Jamahal Hill, but Ming Yang Zhang is a fucking monster striker and finisher. So it's going to be a sick fight. It's going to be a war. And we get to either see Ming Yang Zhang in the top, or Jamahal Hill ends up showing that like he still belongs in the rankings. Because at this point, it's kind of like, what do you do with Jamahal Hill? You're not going to give him like another top 10 guy like Rakic. Or like a guy like in the club right next to the top 5. I think Rakic is ranked 6. He just lost to 7 in Khalil Rountree, and he has not looked good recently. Like, he just looked the worst he's ever looked. So what do you do with Hill? I say it's a major step down. I think he takes on a fight with Ming Yang Zhang next. That's the one I'm going with. Jamahal Hill, Ming Yang Zhang, UFC pay-per-view in December. Hill's going to need time off, dude. His leg is destroyed. Joe Rogan would have went nuts over the card yesterday. He probably, honestly, we got to check on Joe Rogan, see if like his walls are still, the color that they were, because he might have repainted them white. And he might just not be moving. Like his heart might have just beat way too fast watching that whole fight. So I'm going to say Jamahal Hill, Ming Yang Zhang. That's the one to make. December pay-per-view main card. Moving on. Rafael Fiziev had one of his better performances of his career against Ignacio Bahamondes. I think he stays at lightweight, and hear me out. He's already fought Gaethje twice. And Gaethje is on the verge of retirement. He wants a title fight or he's going to retire. And if he takes a title fight and he loses, he will retire after that. So you're going to have Gaethje gone from the rankings within a year. Right? Fiziev's ranked like 11 right now. And he just did his like up and coming contender check, right? So he beats that guy, number 13 or 14 ranked Ignacio Bahamondes. Loses to Gaethje twice, but helped the UFC out in terms of that. So like he helped them out by taking a short notice matchup. But Gaethje's going to be gone in a year. You're going to have Dustin Poirier gone in August. Those are two spots that are going to be completely gone. So he's going to immediately jump to like 9 in the rankings. Moicano versus Dariush is happening. Fiziev's already beaten Moicano. So that's a matchup that you're probably not going to see again. Dariush, you could, but if Dariush loses to Moicano, Fiziev's not going to be looking down to fight Moicano. Probably not. Now, if Dariush beats Moicano, we can have that conversation. But again, how long is Dariush and Moicano going to keep going? 2 years? Maybe? So you're looking at a spot where Fiziev can kind of wait things out and find his way into the top 10 and ultimately top 7 for waiting a little bit longer. But I say the fight that he should be looking for, I'd make the Dan Hooker fight. And I don't know what happened to Rafael Fiziev because he's usually really good at calling people out. Like, he usually has great call-outs for fighters. But, like, he's called out Vince Vaughn and Rafael Nadal and Rafael dos Anjos. Like, he's called all these guys out. He didn't make a call-out yesterday. I think the Dan Hooker fight's a good one. I'm willing to bet Dan Hooker's going to want to fight very, very soon. I don't know when we're going to see it, though. And Dan Hooker's not overly active, so I'd say if you can have him wait it out a little bit, you fight Dan Hooker and I'm willing to bet Fiziev wants to turn around because he didn't take a ton of damage against Bahamondes, right? He didn't. And he had like a long time off because of injury. I'm willing to bet he wants to make the bag. And Dan Hooker versus Rafael Fiziev, put this on any main card of a pay-per-view, right? Main event a fight night. If you go to Perth, you can main event a fight night there. Have this be a 5-round co-main to Olberg versus Yuri, right? This is the kind of fight that we want to see. Fiziev versus Dan Hooker, I think it's a great fight, and it's very interesting. I don't know who I'd pick after the performance Fiziev just had. I don't know who I'd pick. So I'm going to say Dan Hooker versus Rafael Fiziev's the fight to make. Couple months, make it happen. Ignacio Bahamondes lost to Fiziev. That was his chance to take a bigger jump in the rankings. He beat a Jalen Turner who retired. I think a Perez Ziam matchup makes sense. Again, Bahamondes took some damage, but not a crazy amount. I'm willing to bet he can probably turn around and fight on the Paris card in September against Perez Ziam. Or maybe they wait it out a little bit longer. He fights on Noche, or I don't even know if that'd be longer. But maybe they waited out longer. They fight on as the, prelim headliner on the October pay-per-view, or they fight in Abu Dhabi, because I can see Perez Ziam waiting to fight in Abu Dhabi. So I think Perez Ziam deserves to jump up into the rankings. Ignacio Bahamondes just lost to a guy ranked a little bit higher than him, but I think this is a banger matchup, and you're going to see Alvarez go up to 170, so he's not going to be in the 55 rankings anymore. You're going to lose Poirier and Gaethje. You're going to lose some of these guys. Oliveira you're going to lose within 2 years, too. So Bahamondes will probably still be somewhere in the rankings. Chandler's not going to be around much longer. So you're going to have these fights happen. I say let's see how they do. Let's see which guy we can start getting up and getting these fresh contenders, because we have really, really good fighters in this division. We're just not moving the division along fast enough. So that's what I'm saying. Perez Ziam, Ignacio Bahamondes, great fight to make. Curtis Blades won against Rizvan. I do believe he did win. But look, the worst he's ever looked. He's already fought everyone in the top 5. I say a Tybura matchup because I don't believe these two have fought yet. And Blades didn't look good enough for me to go, yeah, that's the one. Get him in there. It's just like, do I want to see the Pavlovich rematch again? Not yet. Pavlovich has to fight Waldo, and if he beats Waldo, then we're going to probably see like a Pavlovich versus a Volkov, or no, Pavlovich versus Almeida for a title shot. while Volkov kind of, we figure out what to do with Volkov. I could see Blades versus Volkov too happening, but I'd rather Blades versus Tybura because Blades is going to have to heal with an injury. I'd like to see Volkov fight soon, and he's in a situation where, like, they could just slip him into a title shot because he fucking beat Cyril Gane, but it is what it is. So I'm going to say Blades versus Tybura is a good matchup to make. They haven't fought each other, it is what it is. Rizvan Kuniev, I'm going to give him a Spivak matchup. A guy coming off a loss, but he's up there in the rankings. And I think Kuniev is around this spot in the rankings in terms of where he sits. So I think Rizvan versus Sergey Spivak makes sense. Let's see how it goes. He's probably going to be able to defend the takedown to Spivak, and he'll probably chin Spivak. So it'll get him in the win column, and he'll start getting buzz around his name. This guy's allowed to take steroids and fence grab and cheat. So I say Spivak versus Rizvan Kuniev. That's the fight I think makes sense. Miktabek Oralbai, great performance over Tafik Musayev. Ludovic Klein. I think Oralbai is a top 25 guy. And Klein just got his chance to take an aggressive jump into the rankings and lost. I'd like to see how Oralbai or Ludovic Klein goes. I think these two are very talented fighters. And I think it's a matchup that makes sense time-wise. Like, Ludovic Klein didn't take a ton of damage against Gamrot. He's going to have to fight one of these guys outside the rankings, obviously. Fight Miktabek Oralbai, right? He's a good name to have on your resume. If you can get a win, that'll probably get you closer to looking at the rankings again. Miktabek Oralbai is probably looking for a guy around where Ludovic Klein sits in the rankings. Let's see how this one goes. I say Oralbai versus Ludovic Klein's a really good fight to make. Both great grappling. Good grappling. Like, Oralbai's grappling is much better, but Ludovic Klein's striking is way better than Oralbai. So let's just see how this one works out. Then you get Nazim Sadikov, who had a tremendous performance, saved the whole card, sick finish. He's on a big win streak. It's time for him to take a jump. I think Nazim Sadikov versus Nasrat Haqparast, prelim headliner, UFC 321 in Abu Dhabi. Or put this somewhere on the prelims, like prelim co-headliner. If this is on the prelims of UFC Abu Dhabi, the pay-per-view in Abu Dhabi, which will be like 321, that is a sick. You know the card's going to be sick. If this is on the prelims of the card, it's going to be unbelievable. So Nasrat's kind of in a spot where he's ripped off a couple of wins. Back-to-back wins that are arguable. Like, the Gordon win was a robbery. The Ribovics win, I thought he lost, but you can make an argument that he won. I still think he lost, so he's got two questionable wins back-to-back. I think a Nazim Sadikov fight's a great matchup to make. This is going to be an absolute war. They got two guys that always go in there and scrap it out. Let's see how it goes. And it's from that, you have a guy that's Azerbaijani, right? His name is Sadikov, and if you put him in Abu Dhabi, that makes sense, right? They're close in region. Nasrat Haqparast is one of those guys that always gets the Abu Dhabi type crowd in front of him. Or behind him, whatever. I think it's a good matchup to make on the pay-per-view card of the prelims of the pay-per-view card, right? Yeah, 321 prelims. Nicholas Moda, I know he lost, but I'm putting him in here because the performance was so damn good. I'm gonna say Austin Hubbard. The reason I say that is I want to get Nicholas Moda a win, back moving in the right direction here, right? He's a very entertaining fighter. He's very, very good. Let's get him against a guy that is a little bit more of a veteran. It's a good name to have under your belt, and someone that I think he can take care of with relative ease. I say Austin Hubbard, Nicholas Moda at some point at the end of the year would make sense for me. It's a good matchup. And I think Nicholas Moda, just get him back in the win column here, and I think this is one that he can do it. I think he'll outstrike Austin Hubbard. I think he'll be able to defend the takedowns very, very well. So say Nicholas Moda, Austin Hubbard. This guy's a fucking beast. Let's look out for him for putting on a scrap like that. Muhammad Naimov is a boring-ass fighter. Let's give him Joe Anderson Brito. Joe Anderson Brito's on a little bit of a losing streak right now. He's going to have to fight down in the rankings, but he's not a name that gets you a ranked fighter next. So I say Muhammad Naimov versus Joe Anderson Brito. You can do this in Abu Dhabi. If they go to a fight night in Brazil, you can do it then. If Naimov wants to make a quick turnaround, he can probably fight in September on Noche in San Antonio, but I don't know if he'll do that. We'll see. I don't know. That's the matchup I'm kind of thinking for this one. Two guys, similar spots in the rankings. Both little underwhelming performances of recently, so I'm going to match them up against each other. Hopefully we can get a good fight. Seung Hung Ko, the Korean Tyson against Themba Gorimbo. He fraud checked Oban Elliott, destroyed him. Fuck it, let's give him a Themba fight. Let's give him another guy that's incredibly overrated and see if he can fraud check him as well. So I think the Themba fight makes sense. You did Themba too much of a favor by giving him the Luque fight. Now he's going to have to do you a favor. I think these Korean prospects are really, really good. They have proved to be really, really good. They have been absolutely cooking on all cylinders. Let's start hyping them up a little bit. Let's start hyping up this area of the world and saying, dude, South Korean MMA has been unbelievable. Let's start putting them against real comp and see how they do. Themba Gorimbo versus Seung Hung Ko. I think it's a great fight to make. Last two coming up here, Jung Young Park. I mean, just a savage for staying in the fight. Does the UFC all the favors in the world. Has a good win streak going. Has some good wins in his resume. Dude, I say do the Bo Nickel fight. Let's get rid of Bo Nickel once and for all. Get rid of Bo Nickel once and for all. Yoon Young Park versus Bo Nickel. I think Bo Nickel might think he can take this one. Oh, it's an older guy. Like, he's not big like Renier de Ritter. Like, I can take him. And Young Hung Park just jabs his face off, walks him down, tires him out, and ends up getting his back and choking him out. I think this is a sick fight. I do. I think it's a great fight to make, dude. This will probably end Bo Nickel once and for all. But if Bo Nickel can manage to get a win here, it's like, all right, dude, maybe he's not a total fraud because Yoon Young Park is very, very good. So I think this would be a very intriguing matchup to make. You let me know what you think. I feel like I cooked with this one, dude. I feel like that's a good one. And Tagirul and Bekov, lastly, at some point you're going to need him to give him a jump in the rankings. You could give him like a Van fight if Van loses. I think Van fucking takes him to school, so I wouldn't be opposed to that. But I'm banking on my GOAT, Joshua Van, winning against Brandon Royval this week. So I say the Perez fight at some point that's going to have to come. The performances from Tagir, man, like he keeps them too close. They're a little underwhelming, so I don't think it's a terrible fight to make, but it's interesting. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. This is the matchmaking for UFC Baku.